We got to flip the switch.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think I need it. Welcome. My name is Kathy Knight. We're here tonight to talk about the probable taxes and all that, taking portion of stuff, but I don't want to get into that. I would like to start with the pledge, the flag, and a brief prayer. So if we could just stand, please. The flag is over here in the corner. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. While we're standing, just a brief prayer. Lord, thank you for this opportunity as citizens and as neighbors to draw together and discuss the issues for the island, and at the same time, Lord, that we would remember to pray for our president and his cabinet and those in authority over us. Lord, it's commanded for us to pray for them. And Lord, thank you for this country. Thank you for this place where we were born or chose to move to, that is still the light for the rest of the world, Lord. And I just pray for those in authority over us, that they would understand that we the people, not they the politicians, are the ones that move and drive this country. And I pray this in the Lord's name. Amen.
Amen.
So, just to start the meeting out, I just want to kind of define what the scope of the meeting is today, plus how we're going to run the meeting as well, because I think it's important. So just to start out, the scope of this meeting is really the reassessment of property. It's not going to, at this point in time, but we will get the town board to do a follow-up meeting to discuss this, as well as the next 2 Mondays, we're going to be focusing on the capital request for the schools, which is, there's a vote on December 20th for that, so we want to do some educational discussions on that the next 2 weeks, as well as we're going to cover the town budget as well. So if you're interested in that, 6:30, the next 2 Mondays, we're going to be really focused on the other piece of this discussion. So this piece is really the assessment of your property and what's going to happen in regards to that. And just so you know, I'm going to just give you a quick discussion on how the 2% cap works. And I think it's important to kind of be grounded in that. So in terms of the 2% cap, it's the levy. So the town board controls what that levy amount is. The school board does, ultimately, but there's different ways in which that gets voted on. In terms of the town board, it's 60% of the town board vote must be approve it in order to pass a breach of the 2% tax cap. It's not a people vote. In terms of the school budget, the way in which that can be exceeded is through a vote by the people, and it must be 60% of the people must approve a breach above 2% for the school budget. So now the school budget's voted on in May. That should not be confused with the capital request, which is going to be voted in December, or on December 20th. The December 20th vote is related to the capital appropriation request. That has no bearing on the New York State cap tax. So it doesn't fall under those regulations. It doesn't require a 60% people vote in order to breach the 2%, because there is no 2%. There's no cap on the capital request budget. So that's something to be aware of. And I've invited Mr. Chrisman, Superintendent Chrisman, and/or representatives from the school to discuss that over the next 2 weeks, because I think that's going to be an important thing to be aware of and to be educated on going into the vote on December 20th, because it could have and it will have an effect on your taxes.
Excuse me, I'm unfamiliar with who your name, your
Right.
office.
Good question. So no office, just a concerned citizen living in Grand Island here, and we're just calling a meeting because as a constituent for the island, taxpayer, we just want to be fully informed when we go into the voting booth, and everybody should really be fully informed when you're going into the voting booth. So that's really what it's all about.
And your name is?
And my name is Mike Madigan. He's coaching me back there. So my name is Mike Madigan, and I'm also a member of Team York, so tax enough already to get kind of the grounding on it. However, you know, there's good things and bad things on the tax issue, so we really just need to be aware of what we're voting on when we go into the voting booth. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Judy. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to her. Just, if you could, she's going to be presenting. I'd like her to do her full presentation before we have any questions and answers. So please provide her the opportunity to fully discuss her piece of it, and then we'll do questions and answers, and I'll help facilitate that process with Judy. Thank you very much.
I'm your town assessor.
Judy is?
Your town assessor.
Right.
Yes, I'm the new assessor. Just about a year and a half now. My name is Judy Tofelsky, and thanks for welcoming me here today. Just a real quick background for those of you that don't know me. I received my college degree from ECC. I was graduated as a real estate paralegal and worked in the real estate area for about 10 years. Happened to see an advertisement on the website that said they were looking for an assessment clerk for the town and jumped at it. Since then, I've continued on with the state courses and have received my certification from New York State as a certified assessor, and that's what brings us here today. There's been, this is a very fearful thing for most people when we talk about doing a town revale. Everybody would like to leave their life just as it is. Understandably so. We have not done reassessment in the town of Grand Island since 1986. So we have a lot of properties that are quite out of whack. We have, currently we're at 46.5% of value. What happens is, in the handout, I apologize that everybody doesn't have one, but let me give you just an example. Back in 2009, this is property on Staley Road, 1261 Staley, 2,100 square feet, sold for $308,000. The current equalization rate is at 46.5. The current assessed value is $92,400. So your tax rate is based on that $92,400, even though the sale price was $308,000. Based on that sale price and using our equalization rate, that assessment should be between $125 and $143. It's too big of a swing. Because of the parameters that I have to work with, it's just too much. These people would be able to take it to court, they would win, I would have to adjust the value. If we're at 100% of value, which is where the town would like to be, there is no argument. Whatever you paid for your property, that's your assessment. And the tax rate that we have right now of $59 per thousand would be reduced. They'd be, at today's dollars, they'd be at about $28 per thousand. So while people are very afraid that the tax dollars, that the property taxes are going to go up, some of us are. There's not a doubt, some of us will. Not everybody. We're going to have, there's going to be, some are going to go up, some are going to go down, some are going to remain the same. I'm sure you've heard that story right along. For those of us that have a handout, we have another property, a very, very small property on East River at 5209. It's 924 square feet. Sold back in 08 for $361,000. That assessment was increased by $41,000, which is quite a large jump, using the same tax dollars. The current AV was raised to 108, but based on the sale price, which is our best indicator of value, the range should have been between 145 and 175. So we've got a lot of properties that are out of whack. In a nutshell, what I can tell you is if doing the reval, your tax levy is not going to increase. Tax levy is set by the town board, by the county, and by the school board. Those three, what do you want to call them? Those three branches are who sets the tax dollars. When we are determining in our office what the value of a property is, we're comparing it to other similar homes. And again, the best indicator of value is the sale price. We have a mistake. Most people think that to do the reval, that the tax levy is going to increase. Some people's tax dollars will. I can tell you mine will. I live in an older neighborhood. I've been in my house for 17, 18 years. My taxes are going to go up, but my neighborhood has increased in value. When we're putting a value on a property, we're not thinking what their tax bill is going to be. we're comparing it to similar homes, to the comparables, to make sure that everything is in line. We would take ranches compared to ranches in the same neighborhood, two-story colonials to two-story colonials in the same neighborhood. The older neighborhoods are selling very, very strong. The Falconwood neighborhood is over 100,000. Sherry, I see you shaking your head no.
They're not selling strong, sorry, but go ahead.
Well, strong for the neighborhood though.
Go ahead.
Strong for the neighborhood, $120,000, $130,000 sales.
Go ahead. I'll talk later.
Okay.
So look at East River Road, has about 20 houses for sale, and they're not selling.
We just had, I just hit my desk today, a $400,000 sale, and I'm trying to remember what the assessed value is. 140. The assessed value on that property is 140, sale price was 400,000. 5221, I think it was, East River.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, I know we have a lot of inventory out there. I know that. I know a lot of inventory is out there and it's not moving. Our smaller homes are moving better than our higher end homes. Why, I'm not sure. The process for this, for the reval, is we would be contracting with an outside appraisal company. They would come in, they would do the work, they would listen to the informals. It would take about a year to do this. The state wants us to be on a 4-year cycle, so we would do all the work this year, 2012. It would reflect on your 2013 tax bills. That's where you're going to see the change in your assessed values. And then for 2 years, it's just going to be basic maintenance. The 4th year, it would happen again. But not expected to have much impact in the 4th year because it's going to be up to date, if that makes sense. And really, folks, the only way to understand this is that we all keep talking about it. It's a very difficult concept to wrap your head around. The more you talk about it, the easier it becomes to understand it, to tell the difference between market value and tax dollars. I know they intersect at some point, but when we're valuing the property, it's the general public that tells us what the value of that house is by what the sale price is.
It changes all the time.
What does? The market changes all the time. You're 100% right, which is why we need to do it and keep it there.
Will your taxes go down when your value of property goes up? Good point. Very good.
If you list a house for $400,000 and it sells for $200,000, are you going to reduce the taxes on the house to the sale price of the house?
I don't reduce taxes, I reduce assessed values.
Would you reduce the
I
assessed
would
value
certainly
based
look
on the
at
price?
it. What is the reason that it's sold under? Most homes don't sell under market unless there's a stressor, a stress factor. Something's happening. Our market has been...
That's not true. I'm not trying to sell a house, I won't name where it is, but the realtors I talk to keep telling me that whatever you knew a year or two ago, knock it down by tens of thousands of dollars. The values are just falling right now. They keep coming to me on a weekly basis and say, Mr. Culp, will you reduce the price $20,000 more? We think we can sell it. I've gone through 3 times on this. The market is now very depressed. I've talked to the biggest realtors, several of them out there. I appreciate if you don't give us an example where a house went for $400,000, which is an anomaly.
Because we can find you 10 that have been reduced by $50,000 and sold $50,000 less than the asking price. There's at least, I don't even want to guess how many, I'm sure the realtors here can speak for how many there's been in the past 6 months. I don't see anybody coming around to reassess the value of the houses based on the
That's why we need to do it.
Based on the selling price.
Every property needs to be looked at. It hasn't been looked at since 1986. That's what we're trying to do, is bring everything into equal.
Judy, my feeling is that it shouldn't be done right now, based on the economic conditions of our country, what we're going through right now. We're in the midst of a recession and we're talking about increasing our taxes. It's just not a good time to be doing this. What's going to happen is it'll actually, and you can look at other municipalities that have done reassessments, it's brought values down. We're having a hard enough time selling properties right now to say your taxes are going to be going, it'll bring property values down. We look at the city of Tonawanda, for example, the townhouses over there. Their taxes are over $10,000 there. They cannot sell.